John, thanks. Check your driver's license before you head to the airport. Starting in early May, travelers with a real ID or other acceptable forms of identification will be allowed to board domestic flights. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp has more about the changes.
Are you Real ID ready? That's the question Homeland Security and TSA is asking travelers ahead of May 7th.
Anyone who comes to the travel document checker to get into the secure area of an airport has to present either a real ID or some form of acceptable ID.
Starting on May 7th, U.S. travelers must be Real ID compliant to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities.
If you're not sure whether or not you have a real ID, just look in the upper right-hand corner of your current driver's license, and if you have a star in the upper right-hand corner, you are Real ID compliant.
This push for Real ID is not new. It was enacted by Congress and signed into law by President George W. Bush in 2005. The changes were made to establish minimum security standards for state-issued ID cards and driver's licenses, aiming to enhance security after the September 11th attacks. If you're not compliant before the deadline, it could cause some headaches in your travel plans.
If you do not have a Real ID on May 7th, or any acceptable form of ID, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull you off to the side and your travel is going to be delayed. We're going to have to ask you a series of questions. You're going to have to go through an identity verification process, something we're doing currently with people who come to the travel document checker without an ID. So if you don't have a real ID, your travels will be delayed. So I suggest you either get your real ID as soon as possible before you travel again, or start using your U.S. passport domestically.
And for some travelers like these two, they are extra cautious.
We usually have a passport and a real ID.
Okay,
just to make sure.
Is it just a sense of security?
Yes.
In Washington, Rachel Knapp, Erie News Now.
To see the list of other forms of acceptable ID cards, you can visit the TSA's website.